Hey, what's up? I'm Samantha Mumba. Please make sure you go ahead and check out my interview with David Duane.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning back into On Air with your one and only rock star on the mic, David Duane, in the place to be the narrator, curator, the throwback millennial. And child, I do feel like a throwback millennial because we've got our girl, Grammy Award nominated singer, songwriter, and actress and philanthropist, Samantha Mumba, with us. Like, oh my goodness, Samantha, they know who you are. They know who you are.
You.
They know.
I'm
Woo.
so impressed with that intro. Like, wow, thank
It
you.
was a tongue tie. I didn't want to mess it up, but I'm having a moment, and we were already having a moment before we got started, but I'm reliving my 6-year-old, 7-year-old life
Oh,
because
I
the debut album came out in 2000. Wow.
it feels like a lifetime ago. Obviously it is really long ago, but just
But
just
it's really not when you think about it, because 20 years is a long time, but it's not a long time. Like, because girl, I can remember I was right in this room at 6, 7 years old.
wow. See, it's like it's crazy how time goes. But that I think it feels like a lifetime ago because it was just such a different time and just
Yeah.
experience wise, it was crazy. And I was so young too. So yeah, it was a lot.
And you still look amazing as you did
Thank
that. So
you.
you definitely did not age a bit.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's get into it. We were talking about just how things have changed from the 2000s to now these 2020s and everything. And of course, we got this little, I call it a shandemic because of shit and pandemic. We just throw them together
Yes.
just like that. But oh my goodness, there's just so much to talk about. You got this new single and video, Cool, which oh yes, it's such a mood. It creates it is a vibe. So anybody who hasn't heard it, when you're done watching our interview, make sure you download it, you stream it, you go check out the video. But just now getting into this space of creating again, because when you dropped your debut album, you were with a major label
Yeah.
and things kind of shifted. They merge labels and you weren't able to put out music and stuff like that. So if we can kind of just even go through that part, because I think it's very important that we start there, because people don't understand, like, when you go away from doing music or something that you're very passionate about, and I'm glad that you're so passionate, you're very focused on, wanting to do music again, but people don't understand like how fighting to get out of a label is so discouraging because it's exhausting as hell.
Yeah.
On top of that, women shouldn't have to put such a fight when they are really passionate about what they're doing.
No, I think it's a valid point because a lot of people to this day have been confused, like, but everything was going so well. Like, why did you stop or what happened? And that's the thing, it's an industry, it's a business. And I wasn't the only casualty. There were a ton of artists that got caught in that merging. To where my core team, my A&R, everybody that I had done everything with were moved around. Some lost their jobs. But to be completely honest, at the time, I was grateful for the break. I bought my house in Ireland. I was able to not be living out of a suitcase for once. I was able to, hang out with my friends, have parties, like just live a little bit. And I really needed that because I'd been in such a work bubble. I think certainly as a new artist, you hope for the best, but I didn't necessarily expect things to take off quite as quickly as they did or as many things happen as they did. So at that point, I was so ready just to feel like myself and just have that little break. So it's not even a case that I was like fighting and like wanting to get out of the deal. I was like, okay, cool. Like we'll get to it when we get to it. And then as time went on, it was like, oh, I am stuck in this deal and I can't release music. So that was a little bit of a weird thing. But then it was like, okay, I'll go do some movies. So I did some movies and then I moved to LA and finally then eventually getting out of the deal. I think I was probably not even disheartened. I think I just really had seen the industry for what it is, and it is a business,
Right.
and,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
that's how you should always look at it. But I was so young coming into it that I feel like, I signed my deal at 15. So I think, half of the people in the label I considered friends and family. And, when all of that's gone, it's kind of like, oh, so I just wasn't sure if that was even something that I still wanted to pursue. For a long time, I was kind of very okay with leaving that at kind of what it had been and what it was. Um, yeah, that's kind of where it was. And I feel like a lot of people, and understandably, because I've done this myself pertaining to other artists that I liked, and I'm like, where did they go? What are they doing? People forget that
Exactly.
it's not that I've been in this like, dusty little cardboard box going, when do I get to come out again? I've been
Yeah.
living my life and
And you've still been working, and that's the
enjoying
thing.
my life. Yes.
That's you know what, that's the biggest misconception. Just because people don't see you, they don't think you're doing anything. And
Yes.
in that time, like you said, you were acting. And you
Acting, doing different business endeavors. To this day, I have different business endeavors that are completely separate to this, that are very fulfilling,
right,
and I like to keep things separate to a degree as well. But even just, getting to have relationships, life experiences, all of that stuff I craved and really needed and was ready for. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, I just feel like life is truly just an adventure. And so you go through different experiences and different times, but yeah, I mean, I have to say some of my best memories have been the past 10 years when people didn't know what I was doing or where,
right,
like
yeah.
that's
I'm
there's
sure
that's
you
been grace.
had a lot of pressure on you during during your early times of being in the industry.
um, it wasn't even so much pressure. It was just that it was so much work that I just was constantly on the go. So it was constant, flights, different hotels, different countries, different shows. It was just one thing after another. Like a day off genuinely was rare. So it's not even that it was pressure like that. I just didn't really even get a chance to take it all in or even enjoy it per se,
Right.
because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it definitely is. So take us back to like when you first, discovered your love for music and stuff like that. Because I'm sure there's probably a lot of people who don't know, but then people who are fans of yours that have been, following your music and your career just in general for a while knows how you got started and just like when you found that passion. But just for our viewers,
Of
tell them.
course, absolutely. I mean, for me, music has always been a passion. So I, grew up doing tap and jazz and performing,
Come on,
doing
dancer.
yes, doing more theater, productions would have been what I was doing growing up. So always had the passion for singing and music. Michael Jackson was everything to me as a child, like everything. Like I wrote the fan club, like I was just big into, he
Mhm.
was just magical to me. So, it was kind of one of those things. And it's so funny. I found like old diaries when I was a kid and ridiculous, but like in like this diary, I don't know what age I would have been, maybe 10, 11. And it was me practicing my autograph, because
Um,
I suppose I don't remember feeling that way, but obviously I was very sure that, this was what I was going to be doing. And almost in a weird way, it was manifesting what I really wanted without knowing that, what that truly meant. So I never had a desire to go to college or, I always wanted to do music. I never knew how I was going to get there, but definitely that was 1,000,000%, in my head that was what I wanted to do. And
wow.
so, yeah,
And you manifested and gotta tell you happened the
I did.
album. So were you already working on that album before getting signed, or did you get signed and the album happened? What exactly happened?
Yeah.
What was the process?
So once I kind of established my management, I actually got my publishing deal before I got a record deal. So,
Yes,
which
come
is
on,
the best thing, smartest thing that could have happened at all, So that was great. So then I got my record deal, and it was then that it was, even writing was kind of very much so a new thing for me. It was always me just writing down feelings and thoughts and poems or, whatever. And I think that's why even listening to my old albums sometimes it feels like I'm listening to a diary of when I was that age because, that's where I was at. So yeah, it was a pretty quick thing. Once kind of things started taking off, it was, because I was in school as well. So once I signed my deal, I was like, I'm out of here. And I just didn't have time to stay in school. Either way, like that was a choice. And thankfully, um, my parents didn't fight me on that. And so all of a sudden, then I was just in Sweden and Norway, writing and recording. And yeah, it was great, really.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
a great experience, especially to get away from school and to really full-fledged like pursue music. Like, oh my goodness. Like what was going through your mind like as everything was like coming together? You had got the pub situation, you got the management, like you were really set and ready. You were in motion. You were on fire at that point.
I think it's that, when you're like at that young age as well, it was that feeling of just being invincible. And because I think as a kid, I'd always been so determined that this was what was going to happen, it was like, oh, great, it's happened. It was like, this, I just didn't even question it. It was amazing. And I think as well, it's a lot to take in at that age. All of a sudden I was away and I think I barely had a Nokia cell phone. It's not like social media that I could be FaceTiming my friends or whatever, So I did find myself very quickly not isolated, but, kind of just very focused on that, the work, the writing, all of that stuff. So, yeah, I think I definitely had to grow up a little bit quickly.
I could imagine because it was like you're processing everything and you're basically in a job setting now.
Yeah,
But it's also your dream and your passion, and
exactly.
you're really having to do the writing, like you said, and even the writing part. I think that's amazing that you had got the publishing deal before the record deal, because a lot of people don't understand your
Right.
publishing, all the royalties, all that stuff has to be intact if you are an artist. That's
Yes,
like one of the main things.
it's just crucial. And I have to be honest, even at that age, because I didn't write everything on the album, but there was instantly a disconnect for me when I'd be in the booth, after being handed a sheet of lyrics to sing, when I didn't have that connect. I hadn't put that time in. I hadn't put my stamp on it, my flair on it. It was a disconnect for me to record that. So, I think even aside from, I mean, obviously the number one reason business wise, it's just the smart thing. It's the right thing to do. If you have a passion for writing, I mean, there's some incredible, humongous singers out there have never written a song in their lives,
Yeah.
and but just for me, there's a disconnect when I don't have that connection um, to the lyrics, I suppose.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was great, but it's just crazy. It's just funny, just even reliving it and re-talking about it now.
Because it was such a good time then. And
Yeah,
when I think about Baby Come On Over, and gotta tell you, just the record in itself, outside of the whole project, woo, good times. Like
great
hearing
time.
the radio, seeing the video on TRL, and just that nostalgia of
Yeah.
the 2000s was just so amazing. When those records came out and you heard it on the radio, you knew it was going crazy on the Billboard charts. You were at these different awards. As things were going, like, what were you feeling? Because it went from the recording process to now it actually happening.
Right. So, I mean, that was a crazy time for me. And to be completely honest, as a European artist as well, particularly back then, before social media, before there was all of that, it was a huge goal, one day to, do something in America. You don't, that was 1,000,000% unexpected. So that just blew my mind, but it was incredible. I had some of my best times, doing all of the radio shows and being on the tour bus, and like that was so fun for me, but it was big. It was a lot to take in and a lot to do. And it's when you're in it, because you're just constantly on a schedule and what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Sorry, my daughter's in her room. She's really loud. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. But when you're busy and you're doing so much, I don't know. And I don't know if maybe it was a way even for me to deal with it because it was so overwhelming that I just kind of was getting on with it. And you don't have so much time to enjoy it. And again, like I said before, social media. So it's not like I was having a connection with people or, having that direct contact with anybody who liked the music. It was very much so next
Fast paced.
plane, next, so, and that was kind of it. So, yeah, I'm more fond of it looking back now than I probably was at the time living it, to be totally
Yeah.
honest.
Now you have that moment to actually really look back and be like, I remember this show. I remember this performance. I
Right.
remember this interview. I remember all of this. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, you're like, yeah, I might possibly remember meeting you before. And
Right.
stuff like that. Like you get to soak it in, because a lot of people don't understand. It's like, yes, we're in the entertainment light. It's like that. And love what we do, but we don't really have that moment to really digest it. Like we're like, once we're in it, we're in it.
In it. Yeah. Particularly back then. And, that's the beauty of doing everything now because I do have control over,
Yeah.
what I do, what I don't do. And I can really kind of pick and choose and enjoy the moments a little bit more. It's just very, very different. And when you're not with that big machine, it's just a very different experience. I wouldn't trade this for the world. I'm grateful to have experienced both, but I'm enjoying so much more this experience and learning really the business and the inside out of everything and just doing everything the right way for myself. It feels
Yeah.
good you
It
know
has to feel good.
yeah.
And let's talk about like learning the business and stuff like that. Because as the years have gone on, I'm sure that you have, learned more and more and more. I mean, of course you have. I mean, you're still rocking with us. But what would you say, like, kind of prepared you to learn as things just kind of go on? Would you say like also the film world and just kind of being a part of that aspect as well, kind of like help you learn the business in
I
many
mean,
ways too?
maybe it's an age thing as well. I think because I was just so young, it was like, oh, my lawyer will take care of that, or my business manager will take care of that. It just was kind of, I just, it was just too much to get my head around at a young age. Whereas
Yeah.
now, I'm all about the business first. Things have to match up and line up and make sense. And, just reading, I'm a big advocate of reading. I think knowledge is power so, so much. So just really reading even about the industry, things that I would have never known or understood. I think it's just good to really know and understand what you're doing, what you're signing up for, all of that stuff. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, it's super important. And I try to tell
Yeah,
you, if you're not reading up on it or you're not in a good space where you're learning these things, you are going to get yourself screwed. And you do
yeah,
not want to do that. So it's good that you stayed on top of learning the business and with
absolutely. Yeah,
and you matured in time too. So you let that also help and say, you know what? Guess what? This is my career,
right,
business manager, this person.
right,
Let me
right.
understand what's
Exactly.
going on in these decisions that are being made.
Exactly, 100%. And I'm a very typical Capricorn as well. So I'm a control freak. I like knowing what's what, who's who, how's how, why, all of that. So yeah.
And you know what? That's a good thing about a Capricorn, uh, being a control freak, because as Taurus, as you know, that's my sign, because we were talking about that before.
Yes. I
We're
love
the exact same way. We're like, look, it's either this way,
it.
or it's no way. You
Yeah,
can give me your thoughts and opinions, but like
absolutely.
between both of our signs, I feel like because we're such driven and passionate signs,
Mhm.
we have to know all of what's going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And and even with this and with releasing, it's been so hard for me to delegate things to different people, but I have to because I can't do everything either. And so it's just, really trusting the team and trusting who you're around, and what you're doing so that they, know how you work and know how to work on your behalf. It's all of that. So it's a lot, but it's good, and you're right, at the end of the day, I'm fully in control with this time. And that is what is fulfilling me aside from anything else. I can't even imagine being in a situation where I really didn't have any say over any of this. And I was just told
Yeah,
like it just wouldn't work for me as a woman at this point in my life. That would be a no for me. So
right. Look, it would be a no for me too because it's now these times. I mean, we're seeing the pop artists, the R&B artists, the hip hop artists. We're seeing just artists in general in
Mhm.
this space of being an independent artist. Anyway, she's so cute.
Okay, you can go over there. Okay, go over there. In a minute, 1 minute. No, in a few minutes, boo. Go. In a few minutes. I can't. I don't
She's
know.
so adorable. Oh my goodness.
Roblox crazy. Roblox.
You said she was trying to play Roblox.
Oh, she's playing Roblox.
Ah.
So you can charge it. Okay. And again, this is the beauty of it, juggling motherhood, everything.
No, and that's amazing too that you do juggle motherhood as well too, and you're able to like really hone in on that because a lot of people like once they try to step back into the forefront and so like that, where people are really seeing them more besides behind the scenes,
Right.
you don't know how to juggle that. So for you, how would you say it is being a mother and just being able to live your dreams still and still have that control like you were saying and learn with
Yeah.
your
I
career?
mean, look, for me, I think this is a journey. It's a marathon. I'm taking my time. I'm not expecting the same outcome as when I had a big machine behind me. It's just that I really stand behind my own music now and I really genuinely believe in it and love it. And I want that to be out, that if you search my name, that you're seeing that, because that's who I am and where I am now. But I say all that to say I am a mother first. I am a wife first, those things there's no kind of leeway with that. So,
Right.
even with stuff now, that's the beauty of it. I would never schedule something to where I can't be up and home with her in the morning, that I can't be making her breakfast. As soon as I get off this, we're going to go have some lunch and I'm straight back into mommy mode. So it's just the beauty of now is just being able to juggle all of those things and make it make sense, and still fit in with what my priorities are because she's my purpose. This is absolutely a passion.
Right.
But being a parent, like she's my purpose. Like This is Sage's world. I'm just living in it and doing a little bit of passion stuff here and there too. And I wouldn't change it for the world, you know. I love that. So
No, that's so amazing. And let's talk about even being a wife too, like you just touched on, because
yes,
that's what's different in this chapter of your life as well too. Like,
absolutely.
and that's such a big thing too.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that's why I was supposed to actually initially release back in 2019. I'm so
Mhm.
sorry. I have a puppy and she's got a toy. It's squeaking like crazy. And I just couldn't get my head around it in 2019 because it was like, God, how am I supposed to be in New York and London and Dublin and all these different places? And, you know, it's not optional for me to not be with my daughter. So it just was a lot for me to get my head around. And so, from a very, very selfish perspective, and I'm like a functioning introvert, I love that I get to be home and still put out music. And, you know, I don't have to travel all over. I can sit here and do Zoom interviews and do, you know, things this way. This really works for the type of person that I am. And I'm grateful for that. You know, I know a lot of people have hated this year. It's been a shit year for everybody, me included. But there, I think, you know, focusing on the positives and, you know, really focusing on the good thing, I think we've all had to reevaluate what's important to us, what do we have to do, what do we actually not have to do, you know, what is making us even happy. So so this has been great in this sense, to be able to ease my way back in slowly, still get my music out, but still, you know, focus on the things that are truly important to me as well, aside from music. So yeah, look, we're all just figuring it out, aren't we, all the time?
Yeah, we really are. And I think that just like you said, even though 2020 was crappy and stuff like that, like going into this new year, this new space like that. I mean, some people are probably gonna be mad that I said this new space, but damn it, it is a new
It
space.
is
Like
a new space.
every year is a new space. But you know what though? We've been able to see the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
through this pandemic, and a lot of people have been able to do amazing things. Like
yeah,
you got this new single, "Chip Cool," and it's like giving us a real chill vibe. And the video is amazing. Like you've been really working on this project for like the last 2 3 years or so like that, and just really just focusing on it and just
yeah.
figuring out your sound.
Yeah, no, I have. And I can't lie. Like, that's the really fun part for me, is when it's my little secret almost, you know, because obviously if I'm doing the music, I'm writing, and I have a great team that I work with, and we have so much fun creating, that this is kind of the part that stresses me out a little bit, because then you have to put it out to the world for consumption. And, you know, then it's judged, and is it good, is it bad? And when it's kind of just your own creative outlet and you're getting to do just what you love with no, you know, none of that stress. It's so fun. It's great. But I'm really, really appreciative. The feedback has been so positive from everybody so far. And even just deciding on what the first single was going to be has been so hard for me, you know, because
I can
it
imagine.
isn't actually indicative of the rest of the record, you know. But it was a vibe, and I love the vibe, and I felt it and wanted to put it out. So, yeah, just figuring this all out as I go along, truly.
So Samantha, also tell us about process like this video, this record that you got, because this is different from Cool, but we love this record as well too. The fans are getting into it, and just tell us about it.
So, yes, you know, obviously releasing Cool is amazing. And then I also went and released another single called Process, which just
Ooh.
personally means a lot to me. It has a lot of personal meaning. It's a very different vibe to Cool, but I just felt like it very much so sums up this year and what this year has been. And if I didn't release it now, it just wouldn't have been a single. So, so yeah, look, giving options and putting some different content out there for
Yeah.
sure.
And I think that's important that you're doing that, before the ended, just a drop
Yes.
and song and stuff like that. Because people love to hear more music, especially from artists that they love, and they're like, listen, we haven't heard music from you in a minute, but we love this. We give us more, give us more. They start to gravitate for more. And I'm sure you realize that too.
Yeah, no, and I really appreciate that. You know, initially I was going, is this madness? I first of all wanted to do a double A side, and then it's like people don't even do that anymore. Stop. So,
See that?
and so then I was like, well, look, you know, if I don't get this out now, and that again, that's kind of the beauty of doing things myself. It's like there's no rules. I kind of can just drop another single. So I did. And I think, you know, it's nice just to have a different side of myself musically than Cool, you know, because like I said, Cool is very much so a vibe and just something that I personally love so much, but it isn't indicative of the rest of the record. So so it's good just to kind of, you know, get a different feel out there.
And it's a different sound for you too. So it was definitely needed its time to be like, you know what, let me take my time. Let's figure it out what
Right.
sound, which one is the right one to put out, even though
Exactly.
you got a bag full of bangers ready to hit them.
Do. Yes, I'm so excited. Now I'm really just excited for you know, to have it out there. But enjoying the journey regardless, for sure.
Yeah. So it's and then the album is coming out top of the quarter, right?
Yes, the album is going to be out at not the top of the course. It's going to be probably like April, May. So I
Perfect.
don't have a set date
Perfect.
on that yet. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's there, it's ready. So it's really just about me getting it together and getting my head around it. And, you know, but I have a lot of things that I want to do and I want to have as much visual content. And, you know, I really just want to make it as big for myself as I can, you know, in my own world and whatever that is. So lots planned for 2021, I must say.
Hmm, I'm ready. I'm
Thank
so ready.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and the fans are ready too because, like I said, they grew up with your music. They
Right.
grew up seeing you on television from the music videos to performances to acting and stuff like that. And I know that acting is something else that you're definitely getting into later in 2021, right?
Yes, I have a couple of things scheduled that we are going to be shooting, hopefully, once, you know, the world goes back to semi-normal at some point.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and you know, for me, I just like creating and being creative, and I love doing films because it's such a, you know, a team effort. You get to work with different people, and just I just like being creative. You know, even if that's sitting at home with my daughter painting, I have just as much fun doing that as I do doing a movie. You know, so so yeah, we'll see. But I definitely am excited to just I feel ready to kind of put my best foot forward, I suppose.
I know that's right. And we are loving the energy. It's the energy for me, sis,
Thank
okay?
thank
And
you so much.
absolutely. And with this project and stuff like that, what are some of your favorite records that that are on the album that you are looking forward to people hearing?
Ooh, I have, well, I mean, I love all of the songs so far, but a personal favorite, and please stay tuned. I don't know if it's going to be a single, but I am 1,000,000% going to do a visual for it anyway. And it's called Pink Lemonade. Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one. I love it. Love it.
Um,
Very, very grown, but but I love it. So so yes, please keep a lookout for that for sure.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And with your writing on this project, like how would you say like it has changed and evolved from that time
Yeah, I mean, I
now?
think oh, sorry. I think earlier I'd even touched on, you know, how listening to the old record, it's like a diary of, you
Yeah.
know, listening to a diary. And I suppose in theory, you know, maybe in 20 years, that's what this will sound like to me as well. I think it's just writing is that you can only write on, you know, where you're at in life or where your imagination is at in life or how you're feeling, you know, all of that. So it's just where I'm at. I don't know how to categorize that per se.
Mhm.
But definitely I'm enjoying the age I'm at. I'm enjoying being in my 30s. I feel very sure of myself, very confident in kind of who and what I am. And so I hope that that's reflected in the music.
And I feel like it definitely will be reflected in the music. And speaking of women and stuff like that, we've had a lot of women be at the forefront of like leadership, especially now in these times. Like when you were coming up and doing music in the beginning of your career, it wasn't a lot of that. It was very little that it was there, but now we see it. How do you feel now seeing that reflected as like these executives, these managers, and just even black women or just women speaking about things
Absolutely.
that are going on in this world?
Absolutely. It's empowering, you know, and I think it's better late than never. But I mean, listen, as a woman, I think we can do all things. Um, and I think there's just incredibly talented people out there, incredibly talented women who are now kind of, you know, getting the opportunities and getting the chances. So yeah, I'm all for that. My God, 100%.
Because who would have known like that this would be the time for women to just be so boss? I mean, I love a boss woman. My mom's a boss, my sister's
Yes.
a boss, my
Yes.
girl's a boss. It's like we need that.
I
Women need
agree.
that energy.
I agree, you know, and I think there's a time and a place for everything, but I'm just all about empowering women, female empowerment, just why not, and I think anybody who feels threatened or feels a way about that, I think that's something that is going on in themselves that they need to, work on a little bit because, I think it's a great thing. I think women are incredible. I think men are incredible. I just think as humans, we're just evolving into a different normal now,
Yeah.
a
And
long continue.
who are some of the female artists that you love, whether that be pop, R&B, hip hop, that are
Whew.
really killing it?
Oh my God, there's so many. I love Summer Walker. I just love her. I just love her energy even. I think she's so crazy talented. And I love that even, on the social, like she's just her, she is
Yeah.
unapologetically. I think that's gorgeous. I love her, HER, Cypress Walker. Obviously, just as a songwriter, she's just legendary to me. And then, I mean, even, some of the people that I loved growing up. Tony Braxton was big for me as a kid growing up. She's still dope to me. Jennifer Lopez, I admire as a businesswoman. I just think she's unstoppable and just
Stop.
body goals. Like she's just on it at all times. And I really respect that. And she's a mom and, has her relationship and she works it out. So adore her. Oh my God, there's just so many. But I love seeing even a lot of, the up and coming and all the new female rappers. I just think it's empowering and it's dope. And it's good to see women expressing themselves, however that looks,
Right.
I love it. So
Me too. I
yeah.
love it however it looks because I just feel like it's so important. It's
Yes.
really important to hear a woman's perspective and how she feels. Me as a guy, I get tired of it. I don't care. I'm
Right.
saying because it just gets tiring. We
Right.
want to know how y'all feel.
Right. No, I love that. And yeah, look, I'm all for women doing what makes them feel good. So whatever that is, if you love it, I love it.
Right.
So yeah.
And I know that you are also planning on doing some possibly some virtual shows.
Yes, I actually am. So I'm trying to figure that out. Again, the Capricorn in me is wanting everything to be perfect and amazing. So I kind of get in my own way a little bit, but definitely that's coming up because I do want to start, exploring that. And there's some amazing musicians that I work with. So just to have kind of a live feel and a vibe, why not? So yes, that's
Be
definitely
amazing
something
again to
in
like
my mind.
perform the old music mixed with the new music too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And like a track list, set
Oh,
list, just like how we did back in the day.
definitely, 100%. I still honor and love those songs, and they did amazing things for my life. So, yeah, definitely, I will be performing those forever, for sure.
And as you should, because they were really great records. And I gotta find my CD
I
somewhere.
love it. I love it.
But I know that I had, and you know what? It's crazy. It's it's somewhere in this room.
Love
It's
it.
somewhere in this room.
That's amazing. And so, like that's even a different era. People don't even buy CDs anymore.
Kids
And
don't understand it. They just want it on these things. I mean, listen, I want it on this thing, but I want to be able to pop it right into my little thing. But Apple didn't upgrade it on us. Now we don't have the CD thing.
oh, I know. I hate it drives me nuts. And then of course, actually, I need to buy the little extension thing that you can buy with the.
Oh yes.
But anyway, but yeah, I hear you.
Let me ask you, like, what were like some fondest moments from your career early on that you would say is like so memorable for you?
Oh God, there's honestly been a lot. You know, doing a DreamWorks movie was literally like something out of a film for me. It was an amazing, amazing experience. To work on something at that level was wild. I did touch on, Michael Jackson was huge for me growing up. I got to meet him, have an incredible experience with him. That is something I will cherish forever. So it's a lot of little things, it's a lot of the stuff that people never see and never hear about or don't, have any clue about. That's the really fun stuff for me, all my little secrets.
And outside of Michael, who was like some people that you loved to meet, like at during that time?
So growing up, yeah, definitely idols for me were Michael, Janet, Whitney Houston, Tony Braxton, TLC, you know, all of those salt and pepper, even like it was all the low register people who like, I was like, oh, they sound kind of like me, you know, I can sing those songs. No, not the Whitney. I'm not losing the run of myself here.
You
And
you can do it, but you can do it in your range now.
I can do, yes, okay, but you know, I love Whitney so much. I'm like, I hate when anybody touches her songs. If you're not Whitney, I don't want to hear you singing it. Period. So,
That's on
and
period.
period. Like nobody's gonna do it like she did. So, but yeah, the Tony Braxtons, I was like, oh, I can do that. You know, the TLC, the T-Boz, yes, I can do that. So, I really related and connected to those artists growing up, and to this day, you know.
Because those were amazing times for me to see too. So I'm glad that we are having this conversation, Samantha. Thank you so much.
Thank you
I,
for having me.
anytime.
I
So
appreciate it.
anytime. So I gotta ask you. We ask all our guests this question before they
Okay.
go. So what exemplifies you as a woman who is a mother, a
Yes.
wife, a sister, a daughter, a friend, an artist, an entrepreneur?
So look, I think I just every day want to be just the best version of myself. I'm forever growing. I'm forever trying to be better at, you know, all of those things. So I can only hope that I'm getting there daily.
And you are, and you do a
Thank
great job at it. So congratulations.
you. Thank you.
Welcome back with the new music and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to it. Everybody else is looking forward to it. And this is going to be such an amazing time.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being so supportive and positive and your energy. I can feel it through our little Zoom. So I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please let's do it again.
Yes,
Time.
we have to. We friends now.
Yes, I would love that for sure.
So Samantha, let everybody know where they can follow you as far as like social media is concerned and how, just how they can stay connected.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I know there's a million different socials. Personally, Instagram is my favorite. My little link there has my link tree. You can get to everything, the merch, the YouTube, the Twitter, the Facebook. It's all in there. But more than likely, I'm happiest over on Instagram, little world of the social space. But yeah, it's Samantha Mumba across the board.
I love Instagram. So we got to follow each other back and
Yes,
stuff.
I need. Yes, the second we hang up, that's what I'm about to do.